everyone, and welcome to episode 22 of the Vinylmation Kingdom Webcast. We're going to go through all of this week's Vinylmation news, which includes a brand new exclusive Hawaii Lilo and Stitch set. We have got the details on a new Mickey Mouse cartoon series. We've got some new Eachez. We got St. Patrick's Day and Easter, and we also have an Olaf competition to discuss and announce the winner for. And finally, we had a trade night this week. So lots of animation news. So I thought I'd do a webcast for everyone. Hope everyone's had a fantastic week. So let's kick off with the main news of the week. So we're going to kick off first off with the new Hawaii Disney Store exclusive, which was designed by Enrique Peter. Features Lilo and Stitch. I love this set. Gotta admit, I absolutely love it. Comes with a surfboard. It has got Lilo there with a really cool smile on her face. We've also got Stitch there on the sort of furry friends mode. Kind of quite cool. I think Lilo looks really cool. She's the one that's really standing out to me on this one, which is quite kind of odd. Stitch looks really funny with the sort of the furry friends mode. Kind of weird to see him on it, and his face is a bit squinty, but that's the way he's been designed. So it looks kind of cool. I think this is fantastic. I love the idea of having location exclusives. I'm a big fan of these kind of things. Not necessarily every sort of Disney thing is connected directly to the parks. It's just great to see these stores getting it. Hopefully this could be that we'll see more location exclusives turning up soon. Maybe a new New York, or maybe even some new European or San Francisco. I love all of these kind of things, so I think it'd be cool to do. It might just be the fact that Hawaii has a history for doing very well with these kind of products. Now there's kind of two thoughts on here. First off, you've got a lot of tourists, but also they generally just tend to be very, very good figures. There's a lot of very cool locals doing pickups for people. I myself have got one being shipped across to me, so big thank you to Larry for picking me up one of them. So there was, and again, it's open edition, so at other stores sometimes is selling out. They are being restocked, so don't worry too much, they are a limited edition item. Also this week we have found out about a brand new series coming out next week. It's be at D Streets at Walt Disney World and Disneyland, and it'll also be online at disneystore.com. It's the Mickey Mouse cartoon series, and this is based on the new cartoon that has recently been out. It features Mickey and Minnie and Goofy, another Mickey, and it's also got Big Bad Wolf and a panda. I am going to stand up here straight away and say I've only watched a couple of the cartoons. I love the fact that they're doing Vinylmations based on sort of new sort of figures, new characters, and just new designs. I think this is a really cool set. I'm going to go into this a little bit more detail on the next show when we've kind of got the full previews, because at the minute we've only really got this. I'm going to save that for next. But this is pretty much the only Vinylmation that we know that is going to be and that is announced officially. Disney are still doing a very poor job in promoting new lines. We literally only know what's coming out the week ahead, and it's, yeah, like I said, it's been really, really bad. We on the recent Destination Vinylmation podcast that I appeared on, we were discussing this as well, and you know, in general, this is you know, Disney really do have to sort of get this sorted. There was at least a point when they were giving out the full month sheets. They were giving out that sheet like the pins do, so you knew what was coming up at least a month ahead. They've sort of slipped back in and literally just started going, okay, here's out next week. Not good, but the actual series itself looks pretty cool. I think there's a lot of people excited about that one. Out on Friday we had the St. Patrick's Day Eachez. This was at D Street in Walt Disney World and Disneyland. It was also released online. Interesting thing with this one, it was actually limited edition size 1500, just slightly smaller than the other ones. I think that's probably a good thing. I think St. Patrick's Day is obviously not as big an event as Easter or Valentine's, so I'm kind of glad they reduced the edition size on the St. Patrick's one. The Easter one was also out on the same day. I think that Easter Mickey Mouse just looks fantastic. This only this limited edition size 2,500. Makes sense. I think Mickey's going to be very, very popular for that one. I have got 2 blind boxes sat for me. I just have to have them. They're working their way across the Atlantic to me now. As with most of the Eaches now this year, both figures come with a mini as the variant 1 in 10, so that sort of Irish mini is going to be quite hard to get because there's only 150 of her, where there's 250 of the Easter one. I think these are cool. I'm a bit odd of why they released them both at the same time on the same day. It's one of those sort of odd things of you would have thought they would have spread them out a little bit more. Hopefully the Easter one will still be around in stores in the parks at Easter, but they're pretty popular, and these Eaches have this tendency to make people go mad for buying multiples to get the variants, especially those minis. But it's cool to see. I think they're fantastic. I think they are exactly what Vinylmation holiday sort of things should have been. The Eaches are bringing an extra added value to it. I've always been a big fan of having these holiday sort of Eaches to tie in things. It's a constant stream. It's something that can keep coming out, and it doesn't really get too old because it's until the next Valentine's or the next St. Patrick's Day. It's always quite a while away. But I love them. I think they look really cool. I'd love to know what you guys think of them. Have you managed to get hold of any? There was when they went up on DisneyStore.com. Pretty much sold out pretty quickly. This is a constant theme with DisneyStore.com, and we've had quite a few comments coming through to us about asking about it, and I'm just thought I'd just quickly go through it. Generally, what tends to happen with DisneyStore.com is it tends to update at I think it's 3 AM in New York time. It's usually about 8 o'clock in the morning in the UK, so it's about 3 o'clock in the UK. The website updates with the information on these new products. Now, this is where things get a bit difficult. The actual whole website doesn't update until 3:30 the hour, so like 3:30 in the morning or 8:30 in the UK. I'm not too sure on the LA time. And so at 8:30, the whole website has a complete refresh, and you can find those Vinylmations, the front page screens if there's any promotions running or anything like that, and anything that we don't know the reference number for will appear, and you'll be able to get it. In the run up before that, maybe 10-15 minutes before, if you do a text search, for example St. Patrick's Day, you might be able to find it. But that's if we know what's coming out, because sometimes we don't know. There can be surprises. I check every single Friday morning, pretty much every Monday morning as well. I'm up checking it, and usually if there's a link, I post it in our Facebook group. Also, but what is important to know is if you're trying to get it early, and this is around about the 8 o'clock, a couple of minutes past, what you need to do is, I'm just going to bring it up here, is on your browser, what you need to do is, when we have a new information come out, for example, let's go and find an article. So I'm just bring this one. I thought I had that one up ready to go. Here we go. So here is the details on the St. Patrick's Day Vinylmation. So when we put up this information from the official Vinylmation site, we have this reference code here. This code here. So when we go to DisneyStore.com, I'll just let that load up in the background. So here we have this reference code. This is key in the morning. What you need to do is pop that code into DisneyStore.com, and that will take you directly to the item. Now, this is why people are often able to get them early. They do not. If you just keep hitting the refresh button on DisneyStore.com, you won't find it. It's a weird system how it does its update. Like I said, 8 o'clock the item usually goes live. It can be a couple of minutes later. But the only way you can find it in the first few minutes is by using that reference code that we usually put out. If the Vinylmation Disney people release it, we have that information. If the code's wrong, changes it. Because they did that a while ago, where they put out the information, but the code was the same as another item that was coming out. So that eliminated that issue. But just as a reminder, so I'm just going to quickly go for it. 8 o'clock UK time, or 3 o'clock in the morning New York time, Disney Store updates with the new information. The only way you can get it for the first few minutes is pretty much by using that code, or if someone puts a link up on the Facebook group. Anytime in the next sort of 10-15 minutes, if you do a search, say for example St. Patrick's Day, you might come up in the search thing, so you've got to keep trying. At 8:30, it will then go, or 3:30 in the morning, it will then completely fully update, and anything that's gone on the site will now be available. So if you go in the Vinylmation section, you'll see it. This is where the kicker comes in. For a limited edition item, usually by the time it gets to the full update, it's gone. Because everyone that knows how to do the Disney Store website has already got in and brought everything because they've had that code. And this is why everyone goes, it's sold out! Well, it's because there's a funny way it updates and people are able to get in and get it early. It's not really early, it's the same time every week. It's a standard process that people have been using for years. If it's a new blind box series, for example the Mickey Mouse shorts, you probably wouldn't have to worry too much about it, because by the time there'll be enough there for people to buy. But it can happen with the trays. They can vanish very quickly. The simple thing is with DisneyStore.com is they are not getting probably enough stock to fulfill the demand. The fact that all these Eachez and nearly almost every new release is selling out in minutes is telling me there is not enough product going on DisneyStore.com. Now I know they wanted to go back into the parks, and people at the parks going, well, they want more at the stores. I still think Disney are not putting enough online for people to be able to purchase. This thing of getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning or middle of the night to buy from an online store, and if you don't do it in literally 3 minutes and you know the information beforehand, you're gone. It's wearing off, and it's just it doesn't seem a very fair way of I don't think there's enough going online, specifically now that they've not in Disney in stores themselves. I really hope that Disney start looking at this and try and working out a way of putting more stock online. It's great that it sells out in minutes. That is fantastic for the hobby. But then if a load go to the outlets in the parks, they might as well just put some more on. And also, it makes it easier on people. People prefer buying from Disney Direct than having to do pickups. Pickups are great, and I rely solely on them to be able to get hold of my collections. But specifically for people in the US, they would like to buy from Disney Direct. So that's my little bit of a tip there, just for anyone that will go that has had any issues there of what's going on. So I'm now going to announce the winner of the Olaf Disneyland Paris. This is a competition I've been running for the whole of February. This was pretty much like a launch competition that we did for our website DisKingdom.com. So I have this one in hand, ready to go. So I ran the competition winner through yesterday, or just before I went live, and so the winner of this week's competition to win a Disneyland Paris Vinylmation is Jesse McGraw. Now he is, or she is, basically it's at Feral Paw. So I will be sending you a message on Twitter, because that's how they entered, and telling you how telling you that you've won, and we'll then organise to have that sent out to you. So a big congratulations to Jesse for winning the Olaf and Disneyland Paris Vinylmation. I'll get that in the post once we get in contact. So we're going to be doing more competitions as we go along, but also competitions can be rolling across all three of our sites, because we've got VinylmationKingdom.com, DisKingdom.com, and then we also have our sister site PopVinyls.com, which are currently running a competition to win a glow-in-the-dark Emperor pop vinyl Star Wars. So that looks really cool. Okay, and finally, and I thought I'd leave this one to last a little bit, was this past week on Friday, Disney held a trading night in Walt Disney World at the I think it's at the Colorado Springs. It was the first official trading event of 2015. They were charging $10 for entry, and you had to pre-order to get in there. But all the reports coming back that I've seen, a lot of people loved having the opportunity to get together to have the trading. People got some great trading done. They got to have good meetups, and that side of the trading night, seems to have gone really well. People love the fact that it was on official property and it was official. It just meant it's a great way for fans to get together and trade. There's still been some grumblings about people paying the $10 to get in, especially if you've got a family. You did get some kind of crispy cake treat for going in there, so that's a few dollars. So that's kind of a nice little add-on. There didn't look to be, by any reports, there was no official trading box, and also there were pins on display, but apparently you weren't able to take any pictures, and there wasn't any Vinylmation on display. There was supposed to be some official previews, but that didn't happen. So slightly disappointing in that news, especially with the way that sort of Vinylmation is at the minute, with so little information and just the way that they've been doing stuff. It does seem, again, like this sort of event was thrown together at the last minute, because they only gave a couple of weeks notice. So I hope they give us more notice for locals and holiday makers for the next ones. No previews. This is specifically with them dropping the information off of the big yearly trade event. It's, really hope Disney get themselves their acts together with this promotion of Vinylmation. It just feels at the minute everything just seems either last minute or a slapdash at the end, which is a bit disconcerting and just a bit. I'm not worried about Vinylmation going anywhere. There's been kind of we've been having these discussions for the last few weeks, really, of what's going on with Vinylmation. I don't think it's going anywhere. I just think, as I said, they've been sort of pulling it down. As long as it's making money, things like these St. Patrick's Days Eachez, as long as they're selling, they're going to keep making them. It just means I think we're going to see a lot less of them going forward, and things like these trading events. There's a lot of expectations that we would have seen some new vinyls. It would have made perfect sense even if they just put out those Mickey shorts and what else. We don't know what's coming out. We've got a new Frozen set coming out in 2 weeks at the Disney stores. We still don't know nothing, but that seems to be the general trend. But we've had a really good week, loads of information this week. Anyway, guys, I'd love to know what you guys thought of this week's Vinylmation news. Which ones are your favourites? Which ones have you picked up? And I will see you in next week in the next show. Hopefully, we got some Vinylmation news. It's kind of I will admit the webcasts are going to be a little bit erratic depending on news, because some weeks if there's no Vinylmation news, it makes it a bit tricky to do one of these shows. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it. And also you can get in touch with us on all of our social media, because I've been trying to get the voice out as much as possible about and you can find us on all different kinds of platforms, but you'll find us under Diz Kingdom, which is our sister site, kind of all interlinked. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I shall see you guys later.